Elevation Nation. Get ready to be inspired, to laugh. Who knows? You maybe even cry tonight. I have no idea where this conversation is going to go, but we have on the one, the only Sarah Fitzgerald. We call her Fitz. I call her Fitz, at least. Sarah is one of my new close friends in DC. We met through our friend Christian Radden, and
Shout
I'm
out.
so honored. Shout out Christian. So honored, Fitz, that you are joining us today on Elevation Nation. This has been a long time coming. Ever since I found out about your passion and came to some of your shows, I was like, Fitz is coming on Elevation Nation, and here we are. So welcome to the pod. Thanks for coming.
Well, of course, thanks for having me. And first of all, I gotta say a big congratulations to Parker on your engagement.
Why, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Of course.
Did you like my Instagram post? It was like 50% of Elevation Nation is engaged. And then I labeled
Yeah.
both my head and Parker's head just to make sure, in case anyone didn't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Sam
I
is
don't,
really desperate these days, is what he's saying.
I mean, no one was confused, but it was good that you also
Yeah.
pointed it out.
Just got to clarify, This is great. I'm so excited when friends become friends. It makes me so happy. And Fitz, I'm excited to tell your story because it's really unique and it's cool. And you are conquering the real world and elevating yourself and other people every single day. So let's get into it. To start, this is Elevation Nation. Parker and I obviously know all about you, but Elevation Nation probably doesn't. So, Sarah, give us a little elevator pitch. Who are you?
Okay, so elevator pitches may be a little bit cheesy, but I try to get over the cheesiness myself. But I'd say that I would describe myself. I'm 22 years old. I graduated college August of 2022, so a little bit late on my part. And I'm a paralegal by day. What pays the bills? Being a paralegal and waitress by the day. And I really like follow my passion of doing stand up at night. I spent a lot of time writing stand up, doing stand up, meeting people in the stand up community. I started doing it when I was 18 years old. My freshman year of college was the first time I ever did stand up. And I really just stuck with it. I really love the stand up comedy scene in DC. And I hope to, as my career moves forward, find a way to be able to combine my work life with, what I find so interesting.
Sarah, you're not the first comedian that we've welcomed to the nation.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So I'm excited to dive a little bit deep into your story and what it feels like to be a comedian by night. But I'm also really curious, like, did you always think that you were going to be a comedian? Did you, like, whether you were on stages or not, I have a feeling that you were always the one making people laugh at the lunch table in maybe middle school or high school or something like that.
Yeah, I think when you're chubby, have glasses, braces, and cystic acne, it's really important to find a redeeming quality that maybe distracts a lot of people from what you're good at, especially when you're, nearly 6 feet tall and also suck at basketball. So I chose to make people laugh, and I just stuck with it. Sam's loving it already.
I'm loving it. It's spot on. You do suck at basketball.
I do suck at
Um,
basketball, and I'm
Have
really
you played with
tall.
the guys?
No,
Have you
they
gone
won't even
out?
let me play. They're like, no, they won't even let me play. And I'm like one of the tallest amongst the guys. I'm the tallest, and they still won't let me play. They know,
Yeah, well,
they know. But listen, if I was good at basketball, I probably wouldn't be doing stand up. Probably gone to a better
Okay.
Good
college.
point.
fair
Also,
enough.
probably would have
Fair
gone to a
enough.
better college.
Well, we're grateful that you are bad at basketball so that we do get your gift of stand-up comedy. You kind of mentioned this earlier, Fitz, of like your dream and paralegal by day, but you want to follow your passion at night. So we like to ask, now that you are grown up, what is the dream? Is the dream, you said combine your paralegal life with comedy? Like,
No,
is that really what we want? Or
no,
do
no,
we
no.
really just want to be a comedian?
No, I want to find a way to have. I think I've always really wanted to have my own business ever since I was younger. I have a lot of really cool family friends that have really cool businesses of their own, and just finding a way to support themselves and making up their own lives always sounded really interesting to me. So that is my true dream. If that's having my own business or finding a way to combine comedy with whatever career goals I end up having for myself, so be it. That's what I really see myself doing, though, for sure.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be comedy then. It could be anything, right? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
Yeah, I guess I think that I mean I definitely do want to do something comedy related. I guess I've always really been interested in politics. So
Hmm.
I've really admired people like John Oliver, who are really provocative in what they say and thoughtful and really educate people through humor. I mean, John Oliver is able to explain something super complex like the American healthcare system through the lens of comedy. And I've always admired that because comedy just simplifies things because it hits certain parts of your brain that make you just click with something. And I think that's really cool. So I definitely do see myself trying to pursue something like that long term.
It's really interesting and special when you have multiple passions, right? I think there are for a lot of people, some people, I should say, they grow up saying, I'm going to be a basketball player, I'm going to be, a chef or whatever it is, right? And they have that one thing that they're set on. But I think for many of us in Elevation Nation and us elevators, who, Sarah, you now are an elevator, congratulations, you're
What floor am
initiated
I?
into, you're getting up there. We're going to have to see by the end of the episode how high you get.
I'm floor
But
69.
Yeah, you might be higher than that.
you might, yeah, we'll
Just
see, we'll see where
saying.
you end up.
Okay.
But my point being is that people can have more than one passion. I think a lot of times young people come out of school thinking that they need to find their passion, right? No one ever says plural, find your passions, right? But why can't you be really into multiple things? So to your point, Fitz, like finding the politics and comedy and combining them together. Like I love entrepreneurship, but I also love public speaking and networking and cooking and meeting new people. It's like I think a lot of times there's this pressure on us to from society to find like our one thing. And then
Hmm.
they say, "Well, find what you love to do and turn that into a job." And it's like I like a lot of different things. I'm a human. There's a
Hmm.
lot of layers to me and there's a lot of diversity to what I'm enjoying. And so I think it's cool that you want to combine a few things into your passions.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point that you just made, especially because a lot of people, struggle with uh, finding their own sense of self maybe growing up. But of
Yeah.
course, also a lot of people now, especially in the job market, are realizing how important it is to find your own niche. There's so many ways to make a lot of money, and there's so many ways to make yourself stand out and be special, and everyone having a unique skill. I mean, half the time when you meet someone who's in a specialized field, they may not even be so excellent at it, but they may just be the only
Hmm.
person that does it. So I think that is, really reassuring to people that maybe feel imposter syndrome or, maybe a little bit scared to try something new. A lot of people out there doing something completely different that, you could also aspire to do as well.
So you said you started doing comedy freshman year.
Hmm.
Did you just like break out, take out the mic in front of your class, or were you walking in the middle of the local square and just speaking to random people? Did you get on like a open mic night? Like how? What was your first
I'll
like
tell you the story.
experience as a
Oh, yeah.
comedian?
So I'd say my interest for just entertainment and comedy honestly started with the Finsta movement when I was 14 years old. I would make extremely like outlandish sketches at my high school. I would get teachers
Classic.
involved. Classic, classic, classic.
This is
And I
before
would get
TikTok.
this before TikTok, and I would
Okay.
make embarrassing skits, and I would get everyone involved and include everyone at my very small school, and I just loved it. And then I remember when I was 16, I got really into stand up. I'm from Massachusetts, so Bill Burr and Conan O'Brien are my heroes. I love ginger guys; they're the best. And going going into college, I knew I wanted to try stand up, and I saw that there was a stand up club at GW that you had to audition for. I auditioned for it and I got in it and I just stuck with it. And I remember the first time I did actual stand up was March 1st, 2019, and the rest is history.
March 1st, 2019. Like, wait, so you have to audition to be in the club.
Yeah.
And, like, what if you just suck? Like, but you have potential. Do they see that in you, or they're just like, nah, no chance. You're not joining.
So it wasn't the club itself. I'd say the requirements, I mean, I wasn't on the judging side, but I'd say our group was pretty fun. We all were really encouraging of each other and we all took it really seriously, which is fun. Every Sunday we'd meet up in a conference room and we'd run through everyone's sketches, or sets and we would give back really strong feedback. And it was really inspiring and encouraging to be in a space where none of my other friends, they're all funny, they're all great, but they're not into like actually performing stand up. So it was really cool to meet, across my campus who I would have never been friends with otherwise. They were a lot older than me. They were engineers or they were just completely different from me, and they all have the same interest of me and as me and knew, how to critique a set or how to encourage everyone to be better or try something new or be out there. And that was really beneficial. I think really added a lot to my confidence at the beginning.
I'm excited to get more into what makes your comedy brilliant. And I will say it is brilliant because I've seen now multiple of your sets and you absolutely crush it. And I'm not just saying that because we're friends. Like, I actually die laughing when you speak. So we'll get into that in a bit. But I do want to talk about transitioning a little bit to the real world here, Sarah. Like, again, you're significantly younger than Parker and myself now, just graduating from college, joining the real world. Is there a part of you that's like, fuck, I don't want to work a corporate job? Like, why am I doing this? Or are you kind of patient and cool with having both sides right now?
I think honestly, thank you for bringing that up because I've never even thought about that before. I think I am frustrated with, I just think in America, the corporate life, has a pretty bad just reputation for good reason. And it's transforming and I hope it changes definitely over time. I hope someday, feel like can be more open and sincere about their dreams, maybe in the corporate space. And I definitely think our age group is definitely changing that. I do get impatient a lot about just, the next steps will be, but then out of nowhere, good things will always randomly happen to me. Like the fact that I got to open for Whitney Cummings was just because I met her in Virginia. If I hadn't met her in Virginia, I would have never, had so many opportunities that she gave to me through getting to open for her or getting to, use her name when I go to an open mic and they take me more seriously or when I go to a showcase or whatnot. So I think just random things will end up happening for you, and being impatient definitely makes you hungry and excited and frustrated, maybe in a good way. But then the best things always come literally out of the sky.
Are you open about your comedy at work?
I'm not. Oh, well, I'm also a server, like 1 day a week, and they all know about it. My boss from my serving job, I work at like a high-end steakhouse. He went to my show, and the entire serving staff is going to my next show. So I'm very open there. But with my bosses and my current day job and any like day job I've ever had, they've never known. They've never known.
I'm curious, like why, like that you want to separate your like personal with your work, you like work life, or is it just like if you say something, they might like be like I don't know. I'm curious.
I think it's because I don't think I say anything. I mean, people, you can cross line with anyone, of course,
yeah, of
but
course.
I don't think that I say anything that would necessarily be considered full or mean. But I think that just sometimes my comedy can be a little bit like inappropriate and I wouldn't want those two paths to cross. And if I post a video on my Instagram or on TikTok, I don't want to be yelled at anyone besides my parents who constantly yell at me about what I post on the internet stand-up wise. So I already have two people critiquing what I post. I don't want to add more to that crowd. But they do love me.
It makes it, I mean, like I ask because I think we're, the last 3-4 years with people remote and people being able to explore their passions a whole lot more just by virtue of being in their home. I know a lot of people are going back to the office now, but like you just have more time we have more time on our hands. And one for Sam and I, Elevation Nation is where we spend a lot of time outside of our full-time job. And I think at first we hid it from our company. We hid it from the people we work with. And it was hard because we were like, we're doing this thing that we want to share with the world and we don't want to tie to our job, which makes sense. But then I remember Sam and I had this moment where it was like, let's make a decision on, do we want to continue to do this? Because it's so difficult to live those two different lives. Whereas I'm Parker, that's Sam. This is who we are. We're consultant by day and we're podcasters and we're elevators by night. But we were like, wait, we can be elevators by day two, right? It's part of our identity. It's part of what we love to do. And I'm really grateful for our company that we work for, that they're really open and happy and appreciative and supportive of what Sam and I do. Because I think it's really important for the people I work with to see that other side of me, to know me, who I really am holistically, so they can connect with me at work and I connect with them and they know all my other stuff. And so I just, maybe the time isn't right, but I think it'd be super cool eventually if you were able to find that line to be able to let your coworkers know that you're an awesome comedian, because I think that's super freaking cool.
You know what, Parker? I feel like this is a good talk. Like you really called me out here in a good way. I honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It took me 8 months to tell my boyfriend of over a year and a half that I did stand up.
Oh
I don't
my
know where he
God.
thought I was every
Wow.
night.
See, we're digging deep. We're elevating today, is what I'm
We're
saying.
elevating today. But I mean, you also don't talk about your boob job on your, on your podcast. I talk about it during my stand up. So
Fair enough.
that's maybe
Fair
where we're
enough.
different. That's maybe where we're different.
It is kind of crazy though, to Parker's point, right? Like, we have something that we're so passionate about that we weekends, nights, late hours, all we think about, all we strive for is comedy or public speaking or podcast or elevating, right? And a lot of your coworkers, you have no idea who they actually are.
Yeah.
And they all have passions and families and lives outside of work. And so I'll give a crazy example. And I have an awesome coworker, and we were out to dinner one night. We were talking, now people know that I have Elevation Nation and I speak around the world, and we have the podcast and we do all this stuff. And I was like, "What do you do, Kelly?" And she's like, "I actually flew to Europe last year. I'm like a world jigsaw champion." She is incredible at puzzles. She's like ranked top in the world
That's
at
so
putting
fun.
together puzzles. And I'm like, holy shit, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. Like, you just flew and put together puzzles and you're incredible at it. Like, good for you. Like, it's so interesting, all these different passions that people have. And it's like, I think it allows you to see people as human. Like, so many times at work,
That's
they're just
so
like
true.
a little like emoticon on a screen that I have calls with. Like, nah, these are human beings with lives and passions and dreams and aspirations. And I don't know, it helped me build camaraderie with my team when I heard all the cool stuff people were doing.
That's true.
I think it's the
Maybe
new world.
They all tell me about their golf live, so maybe I should tell them about my
Yeah,
stand-up
exactly.
class.
I think it's the new
super
working
similar.
world we live in. Like, I feel like 25 years ago, it's like you show up to the office,
Yeah.
you you do what you need to do. You're not very open about your maybe outside life with your coworkers. You get the job done, you
Yeah.
walk out, and then you have your other element. But I feel like today, like, your job it's so much more than, people have their social lives through their work. They have their like weekend sports, this, that, everything. And like, for me personally, like, I couldn't bring my full self to work knowing that a big part of how I spend my time outside of work is on this, and I couldn't have people not know. But with that, Sam and I, of course, have to be careful in certain ways that, certain topics we talk about and certain ways we express ourselves. But at the same time, I think freedom of expression is really important. So this is the way we do it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that over time, that's definitely going to change because every year you just see the work world becoming a little bit less strict, whether it be clothing wise or, talking about your love life or even talking about politics has changed so much. Like, my favorite part about us is see everyone tends to, politically align a certain way. And he was just like completely ripping on someone in a super partisan way. And it made my day because I was like, that's awesome. Like, I'm just hearing he's like a very intelligent, educated guy. And I'm just hearing his opinion about a Supreme Court justice. And I found it hilarious the way that he was, making fun of a Supreme Court justice way. And maybe 20 years ago, that wouldn't have been normal or appropriate. But now it's totally, I don't know, it's like a part of conversation and no one, found it to be an issue. But it was like funny, and I got to see, I guess, more of his values or his sense of humor through him talking about this one particular political issue.
So now we're on this topic. Do you ever feel like you're on stage and you're going to say something that's going to push the line too far?
Yeah, I've had people like text me after shows before, but that's only happened a few times. And I don't like never want to hurt someone's feelings or offend anyone. I don't think I say anything that would necessarily try to target anyone or hurt their feelings. But and I would never want to hurt someone's feelings, but at the same time, I think people can be overly sensitive about certain topics. Not to sound like someone on, Fox News, but at the same time, it's completely it's okay to hurt someone's feelings, and if you do, you can just apologize. So we dance around it.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting as a comedian, like, you have certain comedians, talk about Bill Burr, like pushing the line and pushing the line and pushing the line, and people are giving them like, oh, you can't say that. You can't say that. Like, that's mean. That's wrong. It's whatever. But at the same time, he's a comedian. He's not serious. Mm-hmm. He's making a joke about the way that we live our lives or the way we do things or whatever. And so I'm sure for you as a comedian and other comedians that you work with, it's got to be a little difficult to find that medium, that fine line, so that you're not pushing the line, but also a lot of it's funny too.
Yeah, that's such a good point too. And I mean, I guess I can relate that back to one of my jokes that I talked about at the show that Sam went to last week is last year I gained 40 pounds, and that was really hard for me, obviously. And then I've lost almost all of it. I lost 30 out of the 40 pounds. And weight loss was like a big struggle for me. I never dealt with something like that before in like my early 20s. Last time I dealt with that was 2012. So it was fun to bring back the chubbiness. But I mean, at the same time, some people may find talking about like feeling fat or being fat is offensive, or maybe they are heavier than me and may find it offensive that I called myself, heavy or whatnot, or people that are thinner than me that maybe experience eating disorders may find it offensive. So, I mean, when it's just coming from the heart, you just have to appreciate what it's about. And it was therapeutic for me to talk about. I made like an Ozempic joke. I mean, someone found that offensive. They're probably Michael Jackson's doctor. So
it's so interesting with different. I keep saying it's so interesting. Sorry, you made me laugh, and I don't have a better opener than that. Our similarities between comedy and podcasting, and so for both of us, Fitz, this is our therapy as well. We started Elevation Nation because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I felt super depressed and super lost. And similar to you, you find comedic relief through your comedy acts and shedding light on some of the problems that you're going through. So I think that's a similarity. We're all passionate about this thing that we're building, whether it's our comedy empire or podcasting and public speaking. And we both do it in different artistic ways. So I was thinking about your last set and how there's timing and timeliness to the jokes. And there's, to your point, educating people on current events, but then hitting them with a punchline and bringing it back to reality. And so we do that in podcasting too, right? Parker and I have a script of questions that we thought we were going to ask you. We're not hitting any of them right now. We now, after 200 episodes, and when it was not like this when we first started, just like your acting was not like this, we know how to story tell.
We were going line by line. Sam, you're going to do number 1 and 3, and I'm going to do 2 and 4, and we're going to go through every single one. But now, you
learn how to tell stories, right?
Organic.
It's because not yours is way more art than ours, but we're trying to tell stories on this show, and we're trying to shine light on the problems that young people are facing, and you're trying to shine light on the problems that the world is facing. And we just both do that through different artistic lenses. And I think it's really cool finding other people that are doing something similar. So good job. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Sam. See you at the next show.
Yeah.
See you, Parker, at the next show.
It's great. I get free tickets and her boyfriend doesn't. So it's,
He literally did it.
That's so funny.
It's fine. I'll pay next time. Gladly.
Would you just sneak in or something, Sam?
Yeah.
I got 5 free tickets, so I gave one to Sam.
Oh, classic. He probably felt so important.
I really did. VIP treatment, really man.
Did. VIP treatment. And then you sat in the back. You and Christian, I could specifically hear your laughs.
So you didn't even want to sit in the front? You didn't want to get bullied up front, Sam?
No, I actually was worried if I sat in the front that Sarah was going to make fun of me, and I
Dude,
was
that's the
very
best
nervous
part about
that.
going to a comedy show. You got to be willing and have the mental fortitude, Sam, to sit
There
up
you go.
front and take it.
Take it.
Take it.
Oh.
I mean, I never forget, JJ and I went to a show in DC and we sat front and center. And I was just, this guy teed off on me, like, just so hard. And I was just like, you got to just let it happen. And it's all part of the fun, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think that a lot of crowd work now too, though, is kind of weird because on like TikTok or Instagram, a lot of these new comedians will just do only crowd work. And it's like, what do you do for work? Oh, you met him on Hinge? Like, they just do the basic stuff, which I'm not really that big of a fan of. I rarely do crowd work. And I think a lot of older comedians don't like crowd work. Maybe it's a new thing and I'm just being like boring and old school, but I like to really stick to my set. And then if something really hits home, I'll try to like target someone. Like I had a really offensive joke at the last show, or it wasn't offensive, but it was just making fun of girls that date guys that are really like bad people. And then I made fun of one girl in the front row who I knew used to date a guy that was known for being mean, and then I just like roast her about that. In the Me Too movement.
I'm with you. I think the crowd work is like, come on. If you're like a really good comedian, you're showing up with your material and you got some good stuff. Like, why you have to pick on John in the front and just like go with him? Like, yeah, it could be funny, but like, I think it gets a little old.
And always like on a date.
Oh yeah,
Always on
Always
a date.
on a date.
It's
First date, best place, comedy show.
Just get absolutely roasted. All right, Fitz, we got some more questions for you. One of them I want to ask is, Parker and I now do public speaking for, I'm not going to say a living, but hopefully one day maybe a living.
Manifesting.
I black out when I speak publicly, and I absolutely love it. It is my happy place, if you couldn't tell, and I vibe with it. Parker is very, very good at public speaking, but he likes to get warmed up a little bit. He needs to kind of feel his way into it. And so for you, I'm curious, when you go on stage and the lights are on you, how do you feel? Are you like ready to go? Do things throw you off? Do you have to warm up in it? Or are you like blacked out whole set, don't even remember it?
It 100% relies on how memorized my set is, which I've definitely learned the easy way and the hard way. So now just going forward, I always like last week, the show that you went to, like I have that set so memorized, and it made me feel so strong.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what I try to do. I think when something's really big, like when I opened for Whitney Cummings, that was nearly 4,000 people, I completely blacked out.
Yeah.
When you watch the video, like I can hear people laughing. It seems like I'm on beat. I have no idea how I did that. My body just shut down and I did it. And I was so nervous. But when I, do something where I'm able to be really in control of, what's going to happen, I really make sure to be better at knowing exactly what I'm going to say in the beats, because that just means that even if no one's laughing, I know it's funny. I remember sitting in my room at 1:30 in the morning, giggling to myself, sleep, and writing that joke. So I knew it was funny at the beginning.
And any like pre-game ritual, like do you have any liquid courage like sangria or any beverages that you like to warm up the show with? Coffee?
I'd say vodka cran. Vodka cran's my lucky drink before a show.
Okay.
It used to be just a shot, and then I was like, I'm not actually cool enough for that. So now we've graduated onto vodka cran.
Got it.
We've graduated onto vodka cran.
You're so mature.
Yeah. And if there's multiple comedians going on before me, I always try to be really present in the moment of what other people are doing, because half the time they've been doing it for way longer than me. And I want to appreciate, my friends or my, people that I've just met that also love the same that I do. So I try to just stay present up until it's my time to go on and really have fun with it. Because, I spend so much of my time doing it. I should enjoy all of it, even though 90% of it is waiting or rest time or practice time.
Have you ever just totally flopped?
Yeah, Sam was there when I flopped before, and that was because I didn't have it memorized, and I also didn't eat dinner before I had my liquid courage, so I just got really nervous. I'd say
it was still so funny though. I'm not gonna lie.
So like how'd that feel? I'm curious.
I think because embarrassed that other comedians saw me not do well that night, because the only thing that since college, now that I like real comedians when I do stand up, not just college kids doing stand up, is I just always want to impress them because I'm so much younger than them and they've been doing it for like a decade outside of college. So I always just try to impress them. So that just made me feel bad about myself. But it was just funny anyway. So I was like, fuck it. If this is the one time I do bad when I tend to feel really strong, then screw it when I've had 100 other amazing times. And sometimes you just have to fall down and scrape your knees.
I feel like it's the rite of passage in comedy. Like I feel like any comedian, I'm not a comedian, but like I feel like any comedian has had to flop many, many, many times, right? To get where they are. Even the best comedians out there. You have to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no like video of it, but I'm a huge, huge, huge Bill Burr fan, like I said. And he always talked about how he felt so frustrated breaking through and how he would go to a show and no one would laugh and he would like walk away, or he would like, there was one time in college where he just like marched off stage, like really frustrated. And that always makes you feel better in I guess like a Schadenfreude way, being like, if he could, if he could do it and he's that cool and that amazing and that truly talented from the heart, then I mean, anyone should be allowed and should fail too. So
Bill Burr's incredible. I saw him at Red Rocks, and
the Netflix special.
I was at the Netflix special.
Oh my God! You saw that? I was gonna make a joke about his closing, like his abortion joke at the end was so good. So
everything.
good.
It was just amazing, and it was like, it's incredible to watch this one guy with a microphone was standing there for 2 hours and just, I mean, if you've seen Red Rocks, it fits a shit ton of people and just everyone's belly laughing all night. He's just doing his thing, being himself. And like, I have so much respect for comedians. I mean, granted, Bill Burr is like one of the best out there, but like, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
And it just, everyone's happy. And that's the cool part about it.
That's also, and honestly, the coolest part about comedy is that everyone, especially in DC, I mean, I've only been to New York to do stand up a few times, but I have so many friends now there too, is when you meet someone that does comedy, it's like an instant connection. And they all, 99% of the time, always want to help you, always want to connect you with someone else, always want to like listen to you or whatever, just be kind to you. And that's really fun. Like, I remember I saw Chris Redd, who was on SNL for like 5 years or something. I'm a huge Chris Redd fan. I saw him at the DC Improv last year. A set is an hour. That's an hour. He did 2 hours and I didn't even notice it. He absolutely killed. Those 2 hours flew by. And I DM'd him afterwards. And we have a couple mutual friends, we have a couple like people that follow, just mutual followers or whatever, just through like the New York comedy world. And I DM'd him and I was like, seriously, I've been to a gazillion comedy shows. That was the best set I've ever seen. And he followed me. But it's just like cool that I guess just getting to see people kill, or people that just want to see each other like do well. When one comedian wins, everyone wins. And I think that's like the coolest part about comedy. That's maybe not the same as like sports per se, basketball.
Or rap music.
I
feel like there are some rivalries in rap. It is cool. It's nice to feel supported when you find a community. I think that's one of the big things when you find a passion and you find other people that share your passion, especially now that we're out of college, right? It's so easy to make friends in college. You're all in clubs, you're all in class together, you're all in Greek life, whatever it is, and you have all these friends. And I think that's why, Sarah, I do very much value your friendship as a new friend in DC, because it's cool. Like, you become an adult and it gets significantly harder to make new friends. And I moved, like I was in New York, I came to DC, all my DC friends like Parker moved away and moved to New York, and it was like, damn, the real world sucks when you're not in like your college bubble anymore and you don't have all your friends. But when you find people with similar passions, or in this case, like you're an elevator just like I'm an elevator, and you're trying to make your life better and do something unique, it's like you hit it off with these people that you can share passions, or just everyone has a passion and you respect them instantly. And it's a beautiful thing about life as a young adult, I think.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm so glad that we're friends too. I love you and Matt and Christian. We have our fun at my holiday parties. Sam somehow caused an absolute ruckus at my holiday party. He tried to steal my toaster. Wouldn't let that happen. Absolutely ridiculous, disrespectful move to do to someone when you first meet them. But Sam did try to take my toaster.
It's a nice,
or hide
it's
it.
a nice toaster.
It's a great toaster.
What are you doing with a toaster, Sam? That's someone else's party?
I just, I like to cause a little chaos, make people giggle. Maybe I'm a comedian. I was just trying to be funny, and I was just
Did you
moving the
take
toaster
it?
all around the apartment.
You just took it.
No,
Put it in different places.
we just hid it. We just put it everywhere, and we
He kept on hiding in my toaster.
yeah, we put some beers under the toaster. We put some beers in the toaster.
Jeez, set a fire in her house. Like
That's
you won't find that very funny.
No worries.
I'm sure.
All in good fun.
My renter's
Yeah.
insurance.
That's
Yeah.
fine. So, Fitz, I want to move on to a little bit of looking ahead to the future here as we start to close the episode of you're now extremely accomplished as a 22-year-old, not just comedian, which you are, but as a human being, right? You have your work life figured out. You kind of know what you want to do. Looking ahead to the next few years, maybe 5-ish years, what does the dream look like?
I definitely just say, maybe honing back to what we said at the beginning. Honestly, I truly don't know exactly where yet, but being able to either, have my own business where I'm able to use comedy as a really big creative tool in that, or having a job, maybe working in the political sphere where I'm able to write jokes and help explain things that I really care about going on in the world in a super funny and simple way so that everyone can easily digest it. Take it in.
It's a beautiful vision. Manifest it.
Thank you.
Put it out in the world.
Thank you. That sounded really cheesy.
It's not cheesy though,
That
because
was-
I think
that
it's
was-
on.
that
I mean,
was
it's honest. No,
embarrassing.
it's. Listen, like Parker and I have a similar dream. I think if you don't have a dream, if you're like, oh, in the next 5 years, I want to be exactly where I am right now. It's like,
Yeah.
nah, bro, elevate.
My like dream way to get to work though is by jet ski. So if that can be
Mm.
possible, I'm all good. I'm all good. There's not enough jet skis in DC.
Yeah, there aren't.
Ooh.
I'm from in Cape Cod. They're
Yeah,
everywhere. So
I think it's
it's
good
been a
that
big
there's no jet
adjustment.
skis in DC. That water is a little funky.
January 6th would have been a lot more interesting if there was jet skis in DC.
Can you imagine?
Oh yeah, that would be if everyone just transported
By land and by sea.
Yeah, jet ski.
By land and by sea invading, yeah, it would have been a lot better. It would have been a lot more, not better. I guess the word is interesting.
People just coming by
Certainly would
boat.
have.
A lot more funny
Oh my
photos. Imagine the shaman
I
coming
mean,
in
you're
via
essentially
water.
just describing Florida right now. Fitz.
But I'm just my idea is that people from Florida are just coming to DC on their boat.
Yeah, no, that's how they come. Somehow they don't need to stop for
No.
gas. They just are able to jet ski the entire way from Tampa all the way around the loop and up. Yep, they can just do it all by themselves.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's how they got. That's how everyone from Florida got here. It was by whaler and by jet ski.
Fair enough.
Or those like gator boats with the fan, the gator boats with the fan. We need more of those in DC.
Is that
There's
actually
too many
a
water
thing?
taxis.
Are those
not
fan
enough
boats
fan
actually a
boats.
thing?
Yeah, bro. I went on one.
Yes.
Everglades tour.
They're for
Yeah.
bayous. Yeah, they're for like
Oh,
high
Everglades, yeah. Haven't really gone that. That's a scary place, if you ask me.
Because the people
Yeah.
or because the
Dude, no one
alligators?
lives. No one lives in
Yeah,
the
but-
Everglades.
Ron DeSantis will change
He'll
that.
just find a way to like build a
He'll-
civilization
He'll
in
find a way
the,
to just throw
the swamp.
Oh shoot. He'll find a way to just throw concrete over it and make a new Disney.
I think we're getting good material for some jokes, and I can't wait for this to be used in the next set. I love it.
Thank you, Sam. This is
Inspiration. I know.
inspiration.
All right, so we looked ahead a little bit, Fitz, to what you want for your life. But we now have a section that we want to get into that I think you're going to be good at. It's kind of like improv comedy. We call it our rapid fire section.
I can do that.
First thing that comes to your mind. All right, I'll start us off. Favorite comedian? Go.
Okay. Bill Burr and Tim Dillon and Whitney Cummings and Nikki Glazer. Can't choose. Sorry.
Okay, so
I'll make
favorite
that plural, I guess.
comedians.
That's the big four.
Big four.
Okay, cool.
Got it.
More important, content or delivery?
Delivery. You can talk about the worst thing ever, and if you deliver it well, it's hilarious. Yeah, delivery. That's a good question.
That is a good question,
Delivery.
Parker. Topic that you always find funny.
Ooh, probably canceled politicians because I think everyone can laugh at them,
Mm,
no matter if they're leaning on the left
that's
or
true.
right. So it's always fun to make fun of people that are
Canceled
universally
together.
hated on.
Sure.
Yeah, like Anthony
I,
Weiner,
th- I thought you were
very
gonna say
funny
Hitler,
guy.
but okay.
No, Anthony Weiner
Is there a
or
topic
Jared
you
Fogle.
won't
He's in
go
trouble.
and talk about?
No, because I used to think that, but then I remember this other comedian that I really like made made a good point saying that everything can be made into a joke if you just do it right and you have talent.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I don't think that anything's off topics. There are some things that I find offensive, maybe, but that other people may not find offensive and vice versa. So, yeah, I don't think anything should really be off topic.
Favorite place to perform?
I like anything with super low ceilings. So I really like the Comedy Loft because it has a super low ceiling, so the laughter gets really
Oh, I thought
loud.
it was so you could touch the top.
Yeah, I'd be like,
Sorry. Now I'm trying to
no,
be
it's so
funny,
the
Alright.
laughter
and I'm just not
echoes.
as funny as you.
Um,
So
I'm putting you on the spot on this one. What's your go-to one-liner?
Like my saying.
no, we're not there
we're
yet.
not there
See,
yet.
I don't think we can. I
Wait,
feel
wait.
like most comedians don't have like
I don't
like
know.
a knock knock.
Don't
like,
you got like a one-liner or
Well,
like
I'll do my opening. I'll do my opening
All right,
joke from
fine.
Wendy
That's okay.
Cummings. Growing up, okay, like most white women, my name is Sarah. But growing up, my mom used to call me Gandhi because I would starve myself until I got what I wanted.
Oh my god, that is
That's a good way
I like
to
that.
get them going.
That's a great.
That was my opening line of Wendy Cummings.
I love it. That's hilarious.
Jeez.
Parker's gonna
And
start telling
Parker
everyone
said
that
yes.
one.
Yeah, I
He
bet.
loves that
Hi,
one.
my name is Parker. And
Parker, like most white women, my name is Sarah Parker.
All right, Fitz, we have a lot of New York elevators in our community. A lot of our friends are in New York. A lot of the entrepreneurship communities in New York. And Parker always asks them about New York shit. And being that I left New York, I always feel very left out and made fun of. So I'm going to ask this time, what is your favorite place in DC?
For food or for vibes
Vibes.
or for fun? Like what are we doing?
Like
Vibes.
DC
Okay,
vibes.
I would say the Wharf Swings. That's my favorite gentrified place in DC. For just feeling like I'm super cool in DC, like sitting right by Capitol Hill on those like really cool benches. I mean, obviously it's just Capitol Hill, but it's really cool to see the architecture up close. Not to be nerdy. Very
No,
fun. Very fun.
I
I like
agree.
walking down that side of Pennsylvania Avenue.
That's actually where Parker fell in
Very
love.
cool.
Capitol Hill.
Oh,
Right, Parker?
with an underpaid
no,
intern?
no,
Now fiance.
no.
No.
In the backside, with the water, like around that area, was
So you're the Jefferson?
Oh, okay.
no. I'm looking at the Capitol
Still at the
building,
Capitol?
but the backside of the
the, like,
building.
You said water, like
No,
like a
there's
body
that
of water.
the
You mean,
body
like,
of
the,
water.
Like,
There's like the
fountain,
fountain,
like,
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
whatever.
Okay.
That's a story for another day, though. Okay, last rapid fire. We ask every person this question: what is your favorite book or a book that has inspired you?
I'm a really big Audible fan, so I used to listen to this a lot when I walked. A Path Made Clear. It's Oprah Winfrey's book, but comedy book, I really like Bossy Pants by Tina Fey. And I think it's good to listen to it too because she has really good
Oh, I'm
comedic
sure she's
timing.
hilarious. Okay.
She's
We're
the
adding them to the
best.
list. All right. Our final segment, Fitz. It's called Your Mental Motto. Every elevator that's come on Elevation Nation and joined our nation, joined our community, has what we call a mental motto to refresh everyone's memory. It's a phrase that embodies who you are at your core, how you live your life. So, Sarah Fitz, what is your mental motto?
We talked about this earlier and how I struggled with it all day. I texted Christian and he didn't have an answer for me either. But I guess I would say something that my best friend Chris and I always say. We always say you gotta laugh because he and I would take all these classes together in college where you would, an econ class where you'd fail a test and we would just find a way to laugh about it. Even if something bad happens to you, find a way to laugh about it. if a relationship ends in a bad way, finding a way to laugh about it. So I'd have to say you gotta laugh, because it reminds me of a really good friend of mine, and it's true. It's true. Gotta find a funny way for
I love
everything.
that. Like sometimes, I mean, a lot of times we take life too seriously, and I'm kind of like you. I just like I cannot sit in a meeting and just be so serious. Like I'm always up for a good laugh. Like what? There's no reason to take things so seriously, and we can make fun of anything. And that's why I have so much respect for comedians like you, Sarah, who are, helping other people find that joy in life and joy in maybe some sad things, joy in hard things, joy in whatever we're going through. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate you for joining Elevation Nation and spending time with us. And certainly when you make your way up to New York City, headlining shows and end up, I guess, moving up here, Sam will have to come up and, see you come out, because you'll be doing it full time. And we'll be looking back at this conversation. We'll be like, huh, that's funny. She really elevated.
I elevated, yeah. Oh, also a couple cool, fun comedians that I love in New York right now. I'd say Renan Hirschberg is really fun. I really like Troy Bond, and I really like Julio Diaz. There's some pretty fun comedians to check out in New York too, by the way, Parker. But I'll be up again Memorial Day weekend. So I'll see you Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day weekend. Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, fair enough.
Another holiday.
Parker will come down to DC.
Yes,
and we'll
go
to the Adams Bomb show, and we'll see you perform. And it'll be incredible.
I love that.
But Fitz, this was special. I appreciate you hanging out with Parker and myself and all of Elevation Nation. You are an inspiring human being, and it's really cool to see you kicking ass and going after your dreams and making people laugh and smile along the way. The world has been a tough place for many, and it's really nice to have someone that puts a smile on everyone's face. So thank you for being you, and thank you for joining the nation.
Why, thank you, Sam and Parker. You guys are the best. Classy guys.
Bunch of classy guys.
Classy
all right, Elevation
guys.
Nation. Until next week.
Guys.
Peace. Hell yeah, Fitz. First